A lot has changed since we've seen and heard from each other. I bet you noticed a couple things, but I want you to know that this time hasn't been wasted by any means. And needless to say, there's a lot we need to discuss. So let's talk. Yo, on the channel, on the Shop by Jeremiah channel, today I've been You guys just saw a couple clips of my summer. I threw them in, and I wanted to show you guys that I've really been exploring myself over these past 60 days. For people who don't know my story, who are new to the channel, first of all, welcome. And second of all, I just graduated high school in May. And so me graduating and not only transitioning to a life of adulthood, being 18, but also transitioning to going to college in just 5 days now, and to also wanting to find out and establish my values, my core principles before I go into this new environment. And for me to come into this new environment and to just thrive, I need to first find out who I am outside of this environment. Because when you truly find out and decide who you are despite your environment, that's unchanging. And that's something very special and very important, and something that I had to prioritize over even creating content for a couple months. With all that out the way and being said, I'm back. And man, it feels good to sit back in front of this camera. Like, y'all don't know, but you probably do because you haven't been watching the videos. It's really truly been a while, and I've tried to make this video about 3 or 4 times, but I feel like this is the one. I have a really good feeling in my spirit that this is the one that's gonna go up. There's really 3 main points I want to talk to you about, and we're just gonna get right into them. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know how you're doing. You know, Evolve to Manhood has been and always will be a family for us to communicate. Oh, I called it Evolve to Manhood. We got a little name change now. I gotta get you guys in tune with our name change. Let's get into it. So the first and most important thing that I want to mention to you guys is our channel's rebrand. Our channel is no longer titled or called Evolve to Manhood. That's changed over all of our social media platforms. It is now Evolve Today. And there are a few reasons why I made that change. The most important one that I want to share with you, and one that God's put on my heart, is to make our channel more catered towards spiritual discipline, towards what we're doing in our spirit. And it's always going to be about self-improvement, but I found and I've learned God has enlightened me about self-improvement, and that how without God, self-improvement is truly meaningless because it's self-glorifying. We have to improve ourselves not for our own sake, not for a selfish purpose. And so I want to deviate from that ideology and move towards a more God and Christ-centered content that I want to share with you guys. You know, we're always going to be talking about improvement, how we can better our relationships, our speaking, how we can better our habits, and how we can better our person as a whole. But there's going to be a different kind of foundation and base for those videos. A lot of women, and especially a lot of women in Christ, watch the content, and I want them to be able to take fruit from it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just diversify, you know, the niche and everything. I want to really have it for anybody who can listen and wants to hear these words, because I want to share with you guys so much knowledge that you can use to better your situation. Now, with that being said, I'm going to speak on this a little bit later in the video, but fellas, don't leave yet. Don't click off and don't just give up on me, because I said this channel is not just for you, because I have something special just for you guys coming up, and I'll speak on that later in the video. But like I said, we'll speak on that later. Let's go. Number 2, I want to talk about my summer. It's been a crazy summer, I'm not gonna lie. You've seen some of the clips. I did a lot of stuff. I went to concerts, I did vacations, little celebrations. I did so much this summer, and it taught me a lot of things, but I want to share 2 major things that it taught me. Number 1, after graduating high school, and I put up a few clips of that, I didn't really expect to feel the way that I felt coming out of such a long-term hustle, a long-term grind, you know, going from kindergarten to high school, and especially that 9th through 12th grade period. I'd been working and working and working, and when I finished, I didn't exactly know how to feel. And I did my research, and I spoke to my mom, and I spoke to some other people, and I learned that what I was going through was truly a thing called post-achievement depression. And so I couldn't do anything. I stayed in bed for 2 weeks. I mean, I get out of bed obviously here and there, but I couldn't put myself or get myself to actually put any energy towards anything. I couldn't make videos. I couldn't read. I couldn't even watch TV. I felt so just incomplete. Even though I'd just done an amazing thing and I just had an amazing achievement, I felt lost. And God really just took me through that. He really brought me through that feeling of uncertainty, and he brought me towards a greater purpose for my life. You know what I'm saying? There were some things I needed to learn about myself, about my emotions, about generational curses which have been passed down to me, which will no longer pass down in my bloodline. You know what I'm saying? God has taught me so much through his word, through fellowship with friends, through leaving some friends behind because they no longer serve the man I'm trying to become, and I can no longer coexist with them in a healthy and positive light. You know, these are all things that I had to learn to accept. And through doing that, I feel that I've made one giant step closer towards becoming that man after God's own heart that I aspire to be. I had to learn to trust God in the process. You know what I'm saying? I felt so lost. I didn't have a job for the first large portion of the summer. And I felt lost in how I was going to afford my schooling, how I would supply everything I needed from my dorm, if I would even get a dorm, who my roommate would be, this, that, and the third, would I take my car to college? So many little things that just overflow in my mind because of overthinking and a lack of trust in God. And he taught me to trust him in the process. He taught me that everything will go according to his plan. And I can tell you right now with certainty, everything did go to his plan. I have everything I need for college. I'm excited. I'm ready. I feel fulfilled by him. And I feel content with everything that I now am capable of doing. You know what I'm saying? So now I do trust God. And I look back and I find myself so just funny for not trusting him when I've known him for so long, and I've known he's never flecked down on a promise. He's never broken his word. Number 3, let's speak on the future of Evolve today. First, the platform's mission has not changed. This platform is still for anyone who is willing to grow, change, and evolve. If these 3 core principles and qualities apply to you, then this is a channel for you. If not, I'm sorry, there's probably a better YouTuber out there for what you're looking for. But that is what this channel is based on: growth, change, and evolution. Sometimes change is uncomfortable. Sometimes growth is uncertain. And sometimes evolution isn't anything we've seen before. Sometimes it costs things. We have to give things up to evolve. And that's just a price to pay for becoming a man or a woman after God's own heart. You know what I'm saying? So that's still what our channel is driving towards. You know what I'm saying? That's not going to change. Next, you're going to see more consistent uploads. You're going to see a bunch of videos dropping in the next week or so. In the next 2 weeks, definitely. I'm moving in 5 days. I'm doing a dorm vlog. I've spoken very, 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 very briefly about my other channel, and you're going to see a lot of videos on that channel. So if you want to see more into my personal life, go check out the Shot by Jeremiah channel. I'll link it in this video. There's already one video up, but it's a lot of stuff that needs to get uploaded, especially one video. And if you know me from last summer, then you know exactly what that video is. It's getting worked on, I promise. I'm sorry for the delay. Something I've been waiting to announce for multiple months, even before I left YouTube, is our new monthly series, Man of God. Now, Man of God is going to run throughout all of September, so you have some time. You know, it's still August. Now, I can't say everything about this series, but I will tell you this. If you are a man who is looking to not only grow closer to God, but to find his calling, what he's been put on this earth to do, you know what I'm saying, the one purpose that you may have for your life. And sometimes it's not just one. Sometimes God will give you 2 or 3 or 4 purposes. Sometimes you have many talents that will all go to one purpose, but they kind of fit together in different ways, like a puzzle. You know what I'm saying? If that interests you, then this series is going to undoubtedly change your life. I have that much faith in this series. And I know I'm talking a big game. It's coming in September. I need you to be patient with me. More on that later. Finally, the Evolve Today family will have more diversification in terms of streaming platforms or content platforms. You know what I'm saying? We're going to be building our TikTok base. We're going to be building our Instagram base. And so if you want to see like some daily reminders about your faith or daily reminders about growth and evolution, go follow those two platforms. I'm going to link the names. I either put them on the screen, link them in the description, the comment section. It's going to be somewhere for you guys to go and get connected. You know what I'm saying? Us being a family is not just meeting on one platform once a day. Sometimes it can mean speaking on different platforms. If you guys want to talk to me directly on Instagram, that's going to be accessible to you. You know what I'm saying? So definitely tap in if you're part of the Evolve to Manhood. If you're part of the Evolve Today family, get connected. With all of that being said, I think we've done our reintroduction. I think we've established a good starting point for our return to evolving today and every day. So what are we waiting for? Let's do it. I'll see you guys later.